Hey everybody, and welcome to rabb1t's Ramblings, podcast 421. This time I have a little bit to say about a new quote-unquote free-to-play, I guess auto-battler would be the most accurate way to describe it, called the Bazaar, and that's all I have for this time. Hopefully you'll enjoy the show.
See that plank? Walk it.
I'm a people person, and sometimes I sell stuff.
So I have been following this game called the Bazaar for probably about 6 months. I would call it a board building game, though the devs call it a hero builder, which I don't know is entirely accurate. Basically, play consists of cycles of play, which are 4 random events, with 1 fight against an AI-created opponent, and 1 fight against a player-copied board. But everything is against the AI, and you don't actually ever interact with other players directly. These fights will last between 15 and 30 seconds, so they're all very quick. And the random events can be anything from you get a skill to you get some kind of upgrade to one of your things or one of your skills, or you can get some money, or you can find a shop. And that's how you build up your side of the board, is by going to the shops or getting a thing for free. And then you either get a new thing or you upgrade an old thing to be more powerful. And that's sort of how the cycle of play goes. There are 3 different ways to do damage to your opponent. 1 is through weapons, 1 is through burn effects, and 1 is through poison. And those last 2 are dots, which will go over time. Things you can get also include shields, or healing items, or slowing effect items. There are freeze items too, but I think that's usually tied to something else. I don't think there's too many items that are just freeze. And these things kind of have a rock, paper, scissors type style to them. Shields can build on your character infinitely, so it doesn't matter how much shield you're building or how much life you have, it will just keep building and get knocked down. Weapons will knock out shields, and I think burning does a dot that burns extra hard on shields, so I think they are extra effective against shields. Poison will ignore shields entirely, so you want to prevent that with healing items, but healing items can only go up to the maximum of your current health for that match. So shields are good sometimes, healing is good sometimes. Having both, I like to have both, but I think having both is kind of bad, because then you're building into 2 things instead of 1. Similarly, I try and get weapons and either poison or burning, but again, usually, building into 2 things is not the best. And I've even seen completely crazy builds that had no damage at all, and all they did was build up shields and heal, so they basically just tried to outlast you. I think it's about 15 seconds into the match, this sandstorm, I think they call it, starts, which is just this incredibly massive debuff, which will burn both you and your opponent down very quickly. So, something like shields and health, going completely nuts on that could work. I don't know, I've seen it happen a couple of times. But the randomness of it and building your side of the board is where all of the strategy comes in, because there are 3 heroes, and each of them have a set sort of pack of things that you can get. There is an expansion addition to that, which I'll get to later in the monetization section. But basically, every game you're going through this cycle of get some events, fight either a pre-made AI enemy or a shadow copied player deck, and then get some more things and repeat. So it's very interesting in that you might be trying to play for one strategy, like you'll start the game and you'll be like, okay, this game I'm going to try and do burn, but maybe you won't get burn items or burn skills or things that help those. Maybe you'll just get weapons and poison, or you'll want to do just a weapon build, and then maybe you don't get any weapons, or the total opposite happens and you get like all the perfect things you need to create this insane synergy, because there are kind of cool synergies that can happen. Like some of the skills are your leftmost item or your rightmost item, or when this item does this thing, it boosts these other items. And so there's all kinds of synergies you want to sort of balance and build towards, and that randomness can really mess you up or make your run. So I'm not sure that I'm really into auto battlers. It has been pretty fun and pretty different, but it seems very weird to not be, like a card game where you're collecting and building your, overall collection up, and then you select certain things, like I'm going to go into the match with these things. It feels very weird, but it's also kind of freeing, because then you don't have to worry about having that perfect built deck or following the exact meta. You're just going in randomly. Okay, here's my first shop. These are my options. Which way do I kind of want to go? And then you follow that way and hope it works out. So that is kind of different for me. I don't know if that's my kind of game and if I enjoy it or not. I'm still kind of checking it out. I'm also kind of on the fence of completely stopping. Because here's where we get to the bad part. All during development, they have said this would be free-to-play, and free-to-play players, as long as they play consistently, would be able to keep up and unlock all the things. But when it got to open beta, when I started playing, I think it was last week on Thursday or Friday, they kind of changed that, and there has been an incredible amount of backlash from the community based on the changes they have made. I don't know if it was in the original design, but you get access to one of the 3 heroes for free. So you have to unlock the other 2. So that right there is, a big stopping point for a lot of people. That limits your options and how you play. And there's this premium battle pass, which I think happens just for the month, which unlocks, I think, about a dozen more items for that character. So if you're playing free, then you're already missing out on some items. Now, there's been a lot of debate on if these items do or don't help you. In theory, adding more items you can get in the game reduces the odds of getting the items that you might want that are not in that pack. So, you're getting more stuff in terms of options, but you're also getting fewer options, because then every time the shops roll around, they have more items and therefore more chances, and therefore fewer chances that you will get the thing you need. So there's a big debate about that. But when you play in a ranked mode, you have to win 4 matches against a player to get 1 chest, and then I think it's 7 and 10 for 2 or 3 chests. And then when you get these chests, it will unlock cosmetic things, which I personally don't care about. They're kind of cool, I guess, but I'm not motivated to play to unlock cosmetics. And you get these gems. And gems are how you buy things without paying actual cash money. The other characters unlock by spending 2,500 gems each. Right now they're 80% off, so I guess that's great if you can manage to get to gems. But I apparently can't, because I am really bad at this. Which means most of the time when I play, I do not get 4 wins, I do not get a chest, I do not get anything for playing, which is a huge stumbling point. And since the expansion for each of the characters is locked behind this paid battle pass, I'm not playing with those extra, dozen or whatever cards, and I'm stuck on the first character, which I probably would play by choice anyways. I think she has the most stuff matching to my style. Apparently, you only get something like 45 tickets to play in ranked match, because ranked match takes these tickets to play So basically, the game really is pay to play or pay to win, as the outcry is going right now. So I don't know. It's a good game. It's a fun game. I don't know if auto battlers are for me. It's very different to think that I don't have a collection and I don't have things I'm building up and I don't have to come up with, this sort of strategy before I play, because everything is random once you get in there. And so that's kind of freeing, but it's also kind of weird to me. But the monetization of, basically I'm never going to be able to unlock anything because it's going to take so long, has me, losing any kind of real interest in continuing to play. So I think for me, I will probably stop, basically. I may play now and then because it is kind of fun. And if I'm, in the mood for that, then I might keep checking out for a little while. But mostly I expect I will stop playing until I hear, that this has changed. And, maybe every ranked play you get some gems back guaranteed. That would at least be something. So if I lose and don't get those chest unlocks, at least I would be getting some kind of gain towards eventual unlocks. But I don't know if auto battlers and building up your side of play is something that might interest you. Like I said, it is free to play, and you might want to check it out. And that's all I have for this time. I don't know what I'll talk about next time. In very exciting, very super good news, No Rest for the Wicked is getting its really big patch, which will add a bunch of content and 2 new weapon types. And they've supposedly completely redone how stats work and how a bunch of the weapons work. And so I am very excited for that. But that's not coming out until the end of April. So it won't be next podcast, but it should be the podcast after that I have that to talk about. Soulframe Update 9 still hasn't come out yet, oddly. But I think they were supposed to / were expecting to get it out by now, so maybe I will have that to talk about next time. But if not, I don't know what I'll talk about next time. But hopefully I'll see everybody then. Okay, thanks, bye.
You have been listening to Rabbit's Ramblings. If you would like to see the show notes or feed the bunny by sending a donation, you can find the show website at www.rabbit.com/podcast/rabbitsramblings.html. When you type Rabbit's Ramblings, don't use a space. If you would like to send me an email, you can do so at rabbit@rabbit.com. If you like my page, you can also post on Facebook at rabbit.com. You can follow me on YouTube at rabbit.com. I have a page on Patreon at www.patreon.com/rabbit, RABB1T. You can set up a monthly recurring subscription there at a price point of your choice. Be sure to put the number 1 in place of I anytime you type rabbit. Rabbit's Ramblings is copyright Eric Stryker, using a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Derivatives License 2025.